Hello again. I've been looking forward to filming today. I've been lucky enough to be published by Knitty magazine, and this pattern release is my first shawl. I think it's a good first shawl for color loops. It clearly shows the loops, and I think it also is a good easy knit, and since I have primarily been knitting socks and more recently sweaters, this was a real adventure for me. I didn't imagine that it was going to turn out this big. This shawl ended up 10 feet long, and I can wrap it around my body 3 times. But I love it. It was inspired by seeing so many garter knits from the show Outlander. I think it's hard not to be influenced by the media around us, and I think that's a really exciting, fun thing, actually, to see something and like it and then do something with it. And I haven't done a lot with garter stitch until just recently, and this pattern and the fan back sweater, you will see they definitely influenced each other. Garter stitch, shape, increases. This shawl has a curved back like the fan back sweater. The fan back sweater exaggerates it a little bit just to make the shape, but I think that this has taken the crescent shape and just curved it a little more. It makes it nice to hug your shoulders. It really wants to be wrapped, and it is a little big. So I wanted to talk about some of the things that I've done since, because also I love this yarn. Elsa wool is just, it's beautiful yarn. It feels so good, and I wanted to use every last bit, so I started thinking about modifications that I would make on this shawl, because I ended up with almost 1,000 stitches, and that is worsted weight stitches on my needles. And being a sock knitter, that was different for me. I think that was the hardest part. Everything else about this knit is very easy. So I wanted to suggest, if you were interested in knitting it and you didn't want 1,000 worsted weight stitches on your needles, I had a couple ideas for mods. The first idea would be to knit as prescribed in the pattern until you reach the 8th generation, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. You can just count along the edge. 5, 6, 7. Well, I missed one. Okay, this is the 8th generation, and then from here to here, which is about 3 feet, instead of increasing 2 stitches at each end, to increase only 1 stitch at each end. And you could do that anywhere along the way. Actually, you could change the formula to be fewer increases along the edges. The increases in the feathers will still keep the shape curving, so you would still end up with a wrap. So I hope you like this shawl. Tell me what you think. It's definitely different than what I've done before. There's so much more to explore with color loops, but I'm really glad I went in this direction. I think shawls will continue to be something that I will play with. Another thing about this shawl that makes it nice and easy to knit is that you can stop whenever you want. Now, if you want to stop, then you do need to plan to knit at least to the end of the feather, because you need to finish the last generation of feathers, and then immediately you can bind off. You don't have to do much more than the tip. In fact, you can do the tip on the bind off if you want. So an example of knitting till you want to stop is, where did I put it? If you want to knit a little shawlette, you can stop after the 4th generation. And I used my leftover light colors to make this little shawlette. It just ends right after the 4th generation. And then I put a little magnet closure to make it easy to put on and off. And this is very much based on my design swatch that I made. It was exactly like this, only messier and with different colors. And my sister uses it all the time. Well, it's summer now, so I imagine but if it's chilly in her writing shed, then she says she wears it every day. So I think it's very wearable. I think that this is about 1 skein's worth. So if you have approximately 100 grams of worsted weight of different colors, or even the same color, you don't have to knit this with contrast, actually. There's choices all along the way, but it makes a really nice size and shape and easy to wear, very practical. And along those lines, I used the rest of the darker colors to make a capelet. I wanted it to be a full cape, but I did run out of yarn. So the concept for this is to stop after the 3rd generation, making the side feathers. So all of the feathers fall in, let's see, yeah, so there's 3 generations, 1, 2, 3, which makes 5 locations for feathers. And so then all the feathers end up in 5 columns. And then on the edges, I just stopped making edging increases, and so you end up with a straight line. You can see I put a magnet there to make it easy to close. And this is just a little capelet. Very easy to wear. I think this would be fun to dress up or down. I can see it over a little black dress, or walking on the beach. So as you can see, there are different options with this same pattern, ways to make it even easier. I want to encourage anyone who's interested in knitting the pattern to participate in my knit along. I started a knit along. It's written up in my Ravelry group, Color Loops Knitting, or you can email me. I thought, as long as I have this pattern and my fanback sweater and testing, and all my other sock patterns and other patterns, it would be really fun to just give a little energy to a group effort maybe. So participate if you want, give me a shout. I'd appreciate any of your questions and comments, and let me know what you think about color loops and any of these designs in particular. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.